Welcome to the LifeVision Lab podcast, everyone. A space designed for people who look like they have it all together on the outside, but the inside are craving clarity, alignment, and a deeper connection to themselves. At LifeVision Lab, we don't just talk about growth, we actually build the tools, the practices, and the environments that help you live it. So, whether you're here listening, part of our Shift Lab community, or exploring some of our digital tools and programs, you're in the right place. And if you're someone who's been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just slightly disconnected from your own life, I have created a space called the Shift Lab where we go deeper into these conversations with structured tools, guided sessions, and a community that actually is doing the work. And you can explore that along with some of our digital clarity tools through the links in the show notes below. I know last episode really resonated, the episode with Andre Paradis. A lot of you reached out to me and said he has called out some amazing things about relationship, the masculine and the feminine energy. So if you'll want him back on the episode at LifeVision Lab, or if you'd like to have a Q&A session with him, I'm more than happy to arrange that. So please drop in the comments below. Now, today's conversation is one that I think is going to land very, very deep, because we're talking about something that looks like it's just about food, but is actually about control, identity, self-worth, and your relationship with yourself. Our guest today spent over 30 years doing everything right according to diet culture, and still it didn't work. Regina Oswald is a certified ICF coach, founder of the Body Mind Harmony program, fashion designer, philanthropist, and now author of Liberation from the Diet Prison. I love that title. And this conversation goes far beyond weight. I need this conversation just like many of you here. So, Regina, welcome. I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you so much, Beth, for such a warm welcome. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of this beautiful space that you created where you talk about important things. And today we're going to talk about relationships with ourselves through that diet mentality.
I love that. Before we get into everything, Regina, I want to go back. You started dieting at, I think you mentioned to me 12 or 13. What did that experience feel like for you?
So I grew up in a family. It's a great question. Thank you, because everything has roots. So the roots of my journey started from my family. I was surrounded by a lot of overweight, I would say obese people. And of course, they had problems with their health related to their obesity. And I was growing up seeing that. And from an early age, I learned that we are predisposed. And my mother, who was on diets her whole life, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I have to be on a strict control, but I have to find control as my mother did. And 30 years, I've been controlling my body. I have to admit that nobody saw me overweight, but nobody saw a struggle that was going on inside of me. I was in my own prison, in my own cell. I was the warden, I was the prisoner, and I was the one who punished. So, and that was all in my head, that was all inside of me. And yes, we build this facade, we build this persona that everything looks great from the outside, but from inside, I was so tired of carrying that burden. I realized that our soul perceives control of our body as a burden. And that's why we feel so drained and tired and frustrated to carry it. So that's how it started. And it took me 30 years to realize that I've been fighting with my own biology, and God did not created me to do that.
Wow, there's so many things to unpack here, Regina, especially when you said you were the prisoner, the warden, and the one handing out punishments. I think a lot of us can relate to it just with the way you articulated it, because we are so in our head thinking this is the limited way we can be. But when you said that statement, what did that actually look like for you in your day to day life?
Basically, everything I eat, there's a calorie calculator in my head.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm home, there is a scale on my countertop that well, first of all, my day started with weighing myself. And
Mm.
by the way, I did not weigh myself for about 2 years. And today, preparing for podcast, I put on suit that I think last time I wore a year ago, and it's perfectly fit on me. So that's all I need to know. It's more important how I feel in my body. So when I was in diet prison, my morning started with weighing myself and depends on what the scale shows. And by the way, scale does not show your muscle composition. Scale does not show what time of the month you are. Scale does not show if you ate something salty the night before. Scale does not show if you did not sleep well and you might be having some water retention. Scale
Mhm.
does not show it. Scale just gives a verdict that here it is, right? And that's how my day started. So it's basically the set the mood for the day. If I was down, I was happy. If I was up, I was miserable. So if I was down, then it's immediately the plan of action, what restriction we have to put on me today. So that affected my breakfast. So how many calories should I have? What shall I eliminate from the food? No candy, no this, no nothing, no joy. So that's basically, and when you go to the restaurant and you just allow yourself to go out of that prison cell, right? Immediately the warden shows up and kind of like, okay, what did you do? Then you punish yourself, you go to gym, you run the next day. That's never stopping battle. And our vital energy, not physical energy, and physical energy too, but our vital energy is not limitless. And if we spend it on the
Mm.
war, if I spend so much energy on controlling myself, fighting with myself, punishing myself,
Mhm.
then there is no energy to actually live. So it's not about failing diets. And of course, body resists, soul resists. It's not about
Mhm.
failing diets, it's about failing to live.
That's right. And I think so many of us live in that prison. So thank you, Regina. I think it's a very important conversation for us to have because, just like you said in so many words, if we're so focused on being the prisoner, the warden, and the punisher, when do we have the time and the energy to shine our light? Because we're being
To be
so
a
hard
mother,
on ourselves.
to be a good mother, to be a good partner, to be a good friend to yourself, first
Right.
of all, right? To to do something great in with your life,
Hmm.
you're controlling your weight, basically.
Yeah. I think it's a good segue into the next conversation I want to have with you. You lost the weight, but your body, you said, pushed back at some point.
So what happened is 6 years ago, I launched my clothing brand, Regina Oswald Collection. That was
Mhm.
my childhood dream, and everything was ready. The models, the runway, the guests were invited. We had about 150 guests, and it was a beautiful venue. Pretty much everything was ready.
Mhm.
March 31st was the launch date. It's on my
Mhm.
birthday. March 16th, we got order to shelter in place. So we had to cancel everything.
Indeed, 20 March said was literally when, because of the
2020.
pandemic, we were going into lockdown.
It's 2020. And I was so frustrated what to do. We did a virtually, we made a movie and we did a virtual launch. Everybody received that virtual launch. But then I could not hire models because we had to shelter in place.
Okay.
So my son and my husband became my photographers and
Mhm.
I became a model. So I looked at the pictures and I was not happy. I did
Mm.
not look like model. At least I thought how I supposed to look and I did not look that way. So I decided to starve myself to 1,000 calories a day. And yes, I lost about 20 pounds very fast, but I also started losing hair. My hormones started fluctuating. That brought me later on to early menopause. I got iron deficiency anemia and I got compulsive overeating. So every time I was in front of the food, my body basically made me, my mind, my body made me eat everything that I saw because did not know when the next time I will starve it.
Mm.
And that was so it's not about to lose weight. It's
Mm.
about will you be able to live this the rest of your life?
Mm.
Will you be able to sustain it
Mm.
the rest of your life? Right. So I did not think about that because all I thought about how to lose weight.
Right.
And then the next fight came how to sustain it because
Mm.
I could not live 1,000 calories a day. And then I realized that I'm doing something completely wrong. I'm
Mm.
fighting with my own biology. That's like, and I had this heartfelt conversation with God, and I wrote about it in my book that I was walking my morning walk and I was just asking God for the way, asking God for like to help me to find the way. And on the side of the road, I saw the note, like a drawing, piece of drawing that said, I love you. That
Oh.
was a sign that God's love was always there for me. I can lean on that and I can find the way. And
Mm.
then I took course in wellness and nutrition within Harvard Medical School. I started working with nutritionists, psychologists, coaches, and then I became a ICF certified coach. And that was my journey pretty much. That's how Body Mind Harmony method was born. That's how I liberated myself from a diet prison. So I worked on my mind, I worked on my body, and I was changing narratives.
And I love that because you took something negative in your life and you changed it into something positive, and not just positive, but now influencing hundreds of people around you, maybe even thousands. And I love that. And so now we're talking about your book. And Regina, thank you for raising it because there's this really good line that you were trying to solve weight issues without the mindset work. It's like looking for your keys and where the light is. So let's
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that. And when did that realization click for you? Was it on that walk where you looked up and said, God, what do I do now?
Yeah, it's actually came when I started working with psychologists, but that
Mhm.
was what universe kind of lined me up with
Mhm.
as my request was. But I always give this beautiful example of so in my childhood, my grandma was a seamstress. And I learned how to hold a needle and thread a very, very early age. But
Mhm.
I did not know how to make patterns.
Mhm.
So I was basically doing like 2D clothes. So it was
Mhm.
just like cutting the pants that look like pants, right? So, and then I put them together with a thread and then I tried to pull it on my dolls and it did
Mhm.
not fit. And I was very frustrated because it looks like pants, but it did not fit on my dolls. Just later I realized because my dolls were 3D and I tried
Mhm.
to put 2D clothes on 3D dolls. The same thing here. If we
Mhm.
try to resolve something in 2D, kind of like, okay, eat less, move more, doesn't work.
It doesn't, because it's
A
just not
lot of
only that.
a lot of people use food not to satisfy physical hunger. A lot of people use food for something else rather than just physical need.
Mm.
People are not gaining weight if they eat unprocessed food to
Mm.
satisfy their physical hunger. It's like the car. The car needs to be filled with gas. We
Mhm.
cannot drive the car without gas. It's at some point it will stop. Our body needs nourishment, and it's a beautiful thing. And then we have hunger. Hunger is a signal of our body that we need to give our body nourishment. We have to respect. Those are the gifts. This is a default settings that come to us, right? Now, what do? We try to use food for all other, for boredom, for
Mm,
stress, for
mm.
anxiety, for mood, for pleasure, for anything, right? And the body is like, I don't need that food right now. I did
Yes.
not ask you for food. That was emotional void. That was, you needed something else, but you put a food. So what can I do? And the body does what it's supposed to do. It put it in the fat,
Yes.
right? So that's kind of like we go in depth in my book. We identifying what's a hunger, what's appetite, like, and how to deal with those both. Because if we give body nourishment, it will not accumulate it. It will not hold it. Then the next thing is about hunger. Somehow, people who are in the diet mentality, or people who are trying to lose weight, they perceive hunger as something bad that has to be suppressed.
Mm,
Hunger, it's a signal that our body needs nourishment. That's it.
yeah.
So when we change this narrative, and we should not afraid of hunger. So next time someone feels hunger, just stop and ask yourself, okay, when the last time I ate? Okay, for example, my morning. I ate around 6 a.m. and
Mm,
I did not have appetite to have like a full breakfast. So I just had something little.
mhm,
I started feeling hungry. Then I asked myself, Regina, okay, you ate 3 hours ago, but you had very, very tiny piece of waffle, protein waffle. That was not enough. This
mm,
is your physical hunger. Go and satisfy it. Your body is asking for nourishment.
mm.
Okay? Then this is how we are with consciousness and kindness we treat our body. If that moment was kind of like, okay, I ate very good breakfast, but now I'm hungry. Maybe it's because I'm nervous because my podcast is in 1 hour. Well, maybe I just need to make myself tea, sit down, and calm myself. That's it. So both of them are calling for food, but then when you don't try to suppress it, try
Yes.
to communicate with it because it gives you signal of the need. What type of the need? Is it
Mm.
physical or is it emotional?
I love that because that then opens up to my next question. In your book, when I read it, Regina, you talk about the iceberg concept, right?
Yes.
So, because I think this is where everything shifts for us. For me, that's where everything shifted. Most people focus on food, workout, like you said, right? Calorie counting. I need to hit the gym today. Did I get enough steps in? Which are all absolutely required. But you're saying that that's just the surface and there's something more underneath.
Yes. Okay. And now we go into more physiology, and this is essential to understand. So we have different parts of the brain, and they're responsible for different functions in our body. I'm telling you, the more I learn physiology of our body, the more I appreciate, and that confirms that we are wonderfully made,
Mm.
right? We just have to take care of that wonderfully
And
made
learn to listen to it.
body. Yes, learn to listen to it. And the hunger, by the way, is something that's a conversation between
Yes.
body and us. We have amygdala. Amygdala is our ancient brain. It's right here in the back of our. It threads. It it basically sense the threats
Mhm.
even before they actually appears. That's kind of like,
Mm.
that's very protective. It's
Mhm.
like, so I'll give you example. Sometimes you talk to someone and all of a sudden you feel like you want to withdraw from this person. You want to distance yourself from person. Amygdala is sensing that this person is judging you. This person is like, And even before your cortex, that's like, our rational, our CEO or very smart and educated brain, our amygdala gives the signal to the body to distant. So, what happens when we just focus on the food, on the movement, and most importantly, controlling the food and the movement? Our amygdala sense it as a threat. We're kind of like, like we're in that controlling where we are like, we are in the tense condition because we're controlling. Like I have to, I have to, I have to, I have to. Not
Mm.
I need, not I want, I have to. So our amygdala through hypothalamus sends signal to our body and cortisol starts coming out.
Mm.
And this is our stress hormone.
Mm.
When cortisol is in our body, it basically our body is in a survival mode.
Mm.
When the body is in a survival mode, it does not prioritize healing, restoring, losing weight, balancing anything. Okay. It holds everything. It prioritizes survival. I give this example. Imagine a person who tries to fight with you, right?
Mhm.
And you try to take clothes from that person. Very hard, right? Now
Mhm.
imagine the person who is kind of soft and trust you and
Mm.
kind of like, you can easily undress. Like, we all have children, right? We had to.
Yes.
Okay, that's the same thing. So
Mm.
when the body softens, when the body comes down, when the body is in a is sense that okay, you're not restricting my food, you're giving
Mm.
me nourishment. You're not punishing me with physical exercise. You're moving me because it's essential for me. You're doing it because you care for me.
Mhm.
The body starts cooperate. Why that psychology, that our emotional, our mental health is a huge part of the iceberg. If we ignore it, then we still that on that top, we still in the prison.
Mhm. So, if you had to explain iceberg in one simple way, what would you say?
I would say that it has to be complex approach.
Mm.
So it has to be like, we have to see the whole picture.
Mm. And your book follows a 9 week journey. Why did you say 9? Why not 3? Why not 4? Why not 6? Why is it 9 weeks?
So it explains actually in the book why it's 9 weeks because it's we by the week 9 we come to the conscious competency.
Mm.
So there are stages. People think that it takes 21 days to learn new habit. Let me
Mhm.
tell you, if for 21 days I will remind myself to drink glass of water, but then after 21 days something happens and I will not do it for a couple of days, I will forget it.
Mhm.
So to get to their stages, to get to the conscious competency where you kind of like what to do and you still have to remind yourself what to do, but you already know, you're already competent, right? So
Mhm.
that takes 9 weeks and then up to 2 years unconscious competency where basically
It just
you
becomes second nature.
get to your car. Like right now, that's how my life is. I don't even think about it. Like,
Mm.
like I sense it, I understand. My mind tells me, okay, Regina, you had enough food, or that's not enough food for you. You
Mhm.
need to eat more because you need, like, you'll get hungry in 1 hour or something. So, but I do it like almost like a autopilot. Just remember when we learn how to drive a car, right? First, we kind of like, like when we were kids, we didn't even know that we did not know how to drive a car.
Yes.
Then the time came and we're like, okay, we want to drive a car. We do not know how to drive a car. Then we
Mhm.
start driving the car. We control everything. We're just sitting like this. The
Tight,
road,
right? You
the
hold the
wheel
steering wheel
is
so
tight.
tight.
The whole, but you know the rules because without rules, nobody would let you get into the car, right? So you know the rules, but still, it's kind of like you controlling everything, controlling the light, the next car to you, like the turn signal, the like like you even turn off the radio so it doesn't distract you, right? And then like, time passed by and you kind of like, you're driving, you like,
It's
you're
so
listening to
confident,
the
right?
music.
Because you have 10 things
Yeah,
on your mind, but you're still
yeah.
driving.
Yeah, and then your husband, let's say, calls you and then asks you something or like want to share with you something. You continue driving, autopilot, everything happening. You stop at the stop sign. You stop at the intersection light. Like everything works on autopilot. You're
Yes.
still in control,
Yes.
but you're just observing. You're conscious. You're observing. You're present.
Mm.
That's it.
And this is the second time I am hearing this too, Regina. The first time I heard it was in the 5 a.m. Club book that Robin Sharma talks about how we need to commit to a 66-day cycle, which is pretty much 9 weeks, as you mentioned, to ever get a habit to stick, right? And then you keep working at it. And like you said, 2 years then becomes just part of your subconscious programming then. And so, what keeps people committed long enough? And I ask this because I struggle with it, Regina. I really struggle with the food I eat. I clearly know I emotionally eat. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners who are tuning in also understand that it's sort of become the norm. We're like so stressed. And so we're like, oh, we emotionally eat. So I'm going to eat a big meal today. And then you starve yourself the next day because I had a big meal. So today I'm not going to eat anything. And that in turn has an impact on your mood and just how you get so critical about yourself in your head. So, what keeps people committed long enough to actually change? And I am now looking to you as what I look to the universe to say, give me a way, right? Like, how do we commit to it?
First of all, like, every time we fail, we need to learn something from it. And
Mm,
that's in my book. It's a called David Kolb cycle.
mm,
Like every time something happens, like let's say you set your mind that you will not be eating driven by emotions, right?
mm,
But then something happened and that happens. You analyze it,
mm,
you strategize, and
mhm,
next time it and next time and make plan. What will I do next time
mhm,
to prevent that? How can I do it differently?
mhm,
Maybe I will go straight to the shower. Maybe I will go. And I think I wrote about it in my book. What was happening with me? I listen. I was also stress eater, and I'm introvert. But every time we came from the events, and I was so because like big events, galas, like like and I'm in the gown and everything, and there was plenty of food, so I was not hungry. But I came home and I was so overwhelmed with all this communication and talk and the noise and the people, lights, music, that I went to my pantry and I started eating. And then I started eating the chocolate candies. And then, it was too sweet. Then I needed something salty. Then I needed something sweet. So I ended up with eating so much more that, like, that I would ever eat, even for my meal, calorie wise, right?
mm.
And it still did not feel the void for that getting into your shell, getting into your like, that's what I needed. I
And
needed to.
refueling your energy because you were out there with amongst a lot of people.
So basically, I tried to feel the lack of my mental energy with
Mm,
physical
mm,
food. So that's kind of like, and then I started thinking, how can I use that David Kolb method? Okay, I come home, I put my clutch, and then I go straight. I'm still in the gown. I go straight to my pantry. No, I will not do that. Instead, I'll go upstairs and I'll undress. I'll put my comfortable robe
mhm,
and then I'll put my mask and I'll just lie down in the darkness on in
mm,
my bed. And I said, okay, let me try it next time.
mm,
And if I succeed in it, I'll put
mhm,
$20 aside. So to make story short, I gathered $300, okay, and it stick with me Now, when I come home, I go straight upstairs to my bedroom. In my closet, I undress, put my robe, and that's it. And I don't eat anymore, like
Mhm.
to calm myself.
Because you
So
found a way to do it away from the pantry. So there was a
yes,
pattern interrupt that you kept practicing, and over time, now it's become so natural for you.
yes. So, but then those $20 was a reward.
Yes.
So our brain remembers good feeling.
Mm.
And when we do something and we succeed, reward yourself,
Mm.
praise yourself,
Mhm.
say, Shweta, you're doing so great. You're doing
Mhm.
so great. You planned something and you did it and it went great. You did so great. So brain remembers why sometimes, like, psychologists, coaches recommended, like, let's say you already spent half of your day and you kind of like feel drained, feel a little bit lost. So every time, and that's why my book, not only it's divided into 9 weeks, but it's also kind of subcategories. And it's a very, very small steps. And even if you add one glass of water a day, praise yourself.
Mm.
Praise yourself for
Mhm.
every little step.
And so that's such a good, I guess, insight and way of looking at it, Regina. Thank you. And I'm definitely going to try that. I know personally when I do a brain dump in the morning and I have my actionable items. I have thoughts that I can keep it aside. I actually have set aside worry time. So I've practiced now that when I want to start worrying about something, I push it away and say, 4 p.m. is my worry time. I'm not going to think about it. So I set aside time. And actually, when I get to
Great.
the 4 p.m., then I'm like, no, I'm not so worried about it anymore. Let's move on. Right. And so I think some of these practices, just being intentional every day, I think will get us to that point, and I love that. But so, are you saying then the week that you call the La Dolce Vita in your book is different from what you're sharing? What role does pleasure play in healing, or is it the
Oh,
same?
okay. So joy is essential for our body to soften.
Mm,
Joy we I say that you have to choose at least one joy a day, and it does not have to be something
big,
expensive or
yes.
extravagant.
Mhm.
Maybe you like iced coffee, that first sip of iced coffee, like, fresh brewed iced coffee. That's your joy. Just kind of like, just savor it and just like, like, so,
Mm,
or just spend time, like, reading something, like, find time reading something for people who love reading, like,
right.
so something joyful for you. Go
Mhm.
buy yourself new lipstick. Okay.
Mhm.
And kind of like, like, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do something different. Take some different route. Do something that brings you joy. Maybe your cups are already so old and they don't kind of like, gives you much pleasure to drink from them. So buy yourself a new mug,
Mhm.
your coffee, right? So those are joy is when the body kind of, and joy is not a reward after we are fixed.
And how does
You
something like creating beauty in your environment, even what you wear at home, impact your relationship with yourself? Because I know this, Regina, when I don't dress well and I have a lazy morning, I don't take a shower, I don't have my hair done, my day is so shitty. I just don't enjoy that day. So there is a lot of wisdom in that. But talk to me about your process and how you realized it.
So for me, even when I created my collection was the first kind of 22 pieces was a staple items that helped, how like you stand in front of the closet was a lot of pieces, but
Mm-hmm.
very hard to connect. So my
Mm-hmm.
first collection was those pieces that would help to connect
Mm-hmm.
everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a staple pieces, but very beautifully crafted. So I always said those 5 minutes that you spend with yourself, looking
Mm-hmm.
in the mirror and enjoying the reflection, that's energy you carry into the world.
Mm.
That's how you carry yourself. That's how your shoulders will, like, spread. That's how your back will be, like, like your shoulders open up. Your head will be like, your walk, your, like, like
Mhm.
those 5 minutes. If you come and look in the mirror again, like,
Or I
no.
want to go to bed. I just don't want to go through the day, right? And then you're just going to
Yeah.
carry that energy through the day.
And there are some days when, like, the day, like, we discussed a little bit, my launch was on 17th. And the
Yeah.
next day, I spent whole day literally in my sweatsuit because it's comfortable. I needed to, like, recharge. I needed to, like, process everything that happened. That was a beautiful day. So many flowers, so many, so much mirroring from the people. And I was very, very excited, but I needed to, like, and it's okay once in a while to spend the day in your sweatsuit, but make an effort.
Yes.
Make yourself pretty, not for the world, for you. And then the energy that you feel yourself by looking in the mirror, that you will bring into the world. And that's what it's almost like energy is a currency, right? So the
Yes.
vibration that you are in, you attracting the similar vibration,
Mhm.
right? So
Beautiful.
that's
And
that's very important.
I think I had obviously the luck and the privilege of getting to read your book, Regina. So, and I enjoyed it. I still open it and I still make sure that I refer to some of the things you share. But you have a specific formula for body mind harmony. Can you share it?
Yes, let me it's basically your physical energy, your mental energy, and motivation. So this is
Mhm.
it's in the end, that's like, that formula. And that formula is from my psychologist, Valery Romatsky. That's his formula that helped me. And that's why I put it in my book.
Mhm.
And that's basically what we discussed. We need
Mhm.
physical energy as our movement, our the way how we move in in our life, right? So we're
Mhm.
not sitting on the couch all day. So we move, we explore this world, we do things, we dance maybe. I started dancing like few months ago, hill dance, and I enjoy it tremendously.
Mhm.
So our emotional energy, it's
Yes.
what we discussed. And then motivation. So let's talk a
Mhm.
little motivation. So a lot of people go from what they see in the mirror and kind
Mhm.
of like, oh my God, I hate the way how I look. I need to do something with it.
Mhm.
If you keep in your head that picture of that woman who might be out of shape, who might look tired, who
Mhm.
might look that she kind of a little bit lost herself,
Mhm.
okay? That's what you're kind of like, that's what you are manifesting. Let's create motivation that can excite you. Create an image of the woman. And I talk a lot about that in the book. Create an image of the woman that you want. Not the star, not the movie star, not the, like, maybe you can get like inspired, but create what you want with your life.
Yes.
Imagine yourself, okay, I want to look this way. And then I want to, okay, and then start almost like making this picture real. Dress yourself. How
Mhm.
how you dress there. Okay.
Mhm.
And ask yourself, okay, this woman, that woman in the future, okay, how does she take care of herself when she wakes up?
Mhm.
What does she do? Does she scroll reels, or
Mhm.
she does something positive for herself, for her mind,
Mhm.
right? What type of breakfast she has? Think about that woman and almost like a Christmas tree, start decorating this new life.
Yes.
Like habits. Make this motivation so you get so excited that
Yes.
you start taking steps. So,
And now, Regina, we have so many AI tools where you can actually, and this is something that I did, so I'm going to share it with everyone. When I started reading Regina's book, I was like, okay, who is that future me? How do I want to look like? And for me, it was so easy to create that image through AI and just stick it onto my mirror. So now every morning I wake up, there's not a single day. I think you and I met Regina 2, 3 weeks ago, I want to say. And you shared your book and I started reading. Since then, I haven't missed a day of workout. I haven't missed my steps. I'm eating good food. I'm conscious. I'm conscious of what I'm eating.
and you kind of like, you have to allow yourself.
Yes. Yes.
And we talk about this also through pages of my book, how we self sabotage ourselves
Yes.
because we feel that we're not worthy.
Yes.
And you see, I started talking about it and I started feeling like, like on my shoulders, like, so this is a very, very deep topic because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people cannot imagine that version of themselves.
Mm.
Luxury woman who takes great care of herself, whose hair is shiny, whose eyes are shiny, and she's sitting somewhere and leisurely drinking coffee and enjoying the view.
Enjoying.
Right? Like I put picture for me, that was a woman somewhere in Paris. Okay. Like, like, and she has a beautiful body and she's like, she's not hiding her legs. And then she's drinking coffee and she's in the present and she's enjoying herself.
Yes.
So, but some people do not feel, or some women do not feel that they're worthy. That's when we self sabotage ourselves. We start doing something, we see results, but then kind of like, no, that's not me. So that's another thing, that's another layer that we have to start working and changing the narratives, that the way how we talk to ourselves, the way, and we don't have to do anything to become worthy. We have to remember that we are worthy just because we exist. It's our birthright.
I love it. And for
Okay.
those who want to buy your book, Regina, where can they find it? Can you share it with everyone here?
Well, now it's available on Amazon. And for Kindle readers, I am a Kindle reader. For Kindle readers, they can buy Kindle version and it's available immediately. For the paperback version, they can buy it and it will be delivered to them. I think it's even available in Europe.
Oh,
So you let me know if it's available in Canada. I'm pretty sure if it's in
it is.
America,
It is
it's
available. Yes.
so, yeah, so, and then of course, I could be reached through my Facebook, through my Instagram, through my website. So, I'll be happy if your listeners have any questions or something that they want to ask me. I would be happy to.
I love that. And you'll heard me in the beginning of the episode where I shared if you'll want Q&A with Andre, please drop in comments. It's the same thing with Regina as well. I'm sure Regina would be gladly happy to join us for any Q&A sessions that we can
I would
organize.
love that. I
And
would
I
love
think
that.
that is when the real wisdom can be shared as well with one on one questions, real time, real results, real transformation. So I do appreciate your generosity, Regina. Thank you. And I'll drop all the links in the show notes below to show you how to connect with Regina and how to buy her book. I've loved her book. I'm still enjoying it. I keep referring back to certain pages because it's kind of become like my Bible to understand my body and to eat healthy and how I can feel best. I'm not going to say how I can lose weight because I am happy the way I am. And that's what I'm practicing. And just saying that in the last 2 weeks, I can see that I've started shedding some inches off my waist, which is wild. Just the thought alone can really change things in our body.
And it's so interesting because I never positioned my method as the weight loss program,
Exactly.
but people do lose weight because they calm down.
Yes.
They soften, the body softens, the
Softens.
body kind of like, and they start taking care of their bodies instead of controlling it.
Yes, I love that. We're going to get into a quick rapid fire round, Regina, just to get to know you a little bit more. What's a once forbidden food?
I don't eat dairy because I
Mhm.
don't like how I feel after dairy. So it's not really forbidden, but I don't eat dairy. It just makes me feel so bloated.
So the messaging is listen to your body on how it
Exactly.
feels each time you eat something.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing also, I am not lactose intolerant. It's
Mm,
just the way how my body tells me that it's not what it needs.
amazing. Your morning ritual.
My morning ritual, 5:30 a.m. I get up, I have my morning routine, and then I have a beautiful full breakfast, and then 7 o'clock I leave for my workout. So that's my morning routine.
Amazing. Advice to your younger self.
Love yourself. Love
Movement,
yourself.
love. Sorry,
Support
go ahead.
yourself. Sorry. Support yourself,
Mhm.
and um, don't doubt yourself.
Amazing. Movement, you love.
I love weightlifting.
Mhm.
I love running, but not long distance, just kind
Mhm.
of like a short kind of periods of cardio. And then I started hill dancing. I love it.
I love that. And harmony begins where?
Harmony begins when we start listening to ourselves. The
Go ahead.
simplest,
Yeah.
yes, the simplest exercise is you put your hand on your heart
Mhm.
and just listen.
Yeah.
And just listen for 15 or 30 seconds or whatever time you have. And that's how you start listening to yourself. Because in order to listen to your heart, you have to quiet all the outside noise.
Yes. Beautifully put. Thank you. If someone is listening and they feel stuck, what's their first small step? You said listen to your body. Could you give us one more?
Also, tell yourself every time you feel stuck, you feel that you're harsh, there is a harsh voice in you. Tell yourself, I am allowed to move at my own pace.
Mhm. That's such a
Okay.
good
And then, yes, and maybe put your hand on your heart, tell yourself that, and get up, get glass of water, and start praising yourself.
oh,
You just did something really, really good for your whole body.
and it feels so silly in the beginning, but I completely trust you on this, Regina. Once you start doing it, you're in so much awe of yourself, right? And there's a point you reach, and then you're so driven and motivated to do so many things. So I love that.
That's how like small, small, small steps.
Yeah, I love that. Regina, this was such a beautiful and honest conversation. And if you're listening and something in this episode resonated, don't just take it in and move on. Take a moment, reflect, and ask yourself, where am I still trying to control instead of understand? Very different approaches to getting over your own self. And if you want to go deeper into this kind of work, you can join us inside the Shift Lab community. You want to have a Q&A session with Regina, as you've heard, she is more than happy to come on again. So please don't be shy. Put your questions in the comments. We're going to be tracking it and we will organize a call just so all of you can join and have real conversations. And if you're looking for more structured support, you can also explore a lot of the products, our digital products online, as well as Regina's contacts that I'm going to put in the show notes below. All of that is linked. And so you're just one step away from taking care of yourself. And I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay aligned, stay intentional, and keep building a life that actually feels like yours. Thank you.